Hello, hi there, and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Ferdinand, and today we're going to talk about property. What is property? Now, property another is another hot potato, and the reason why I say that is it's for most people identify what is property or what is proper to man can be a little bit tricky, and this is why I'm doing all these videos to kind of shed some light, some clarity on these topics. So so I'm just going to break it down in layman's term, and I'm going to make it a bit more. I hope I could clear up some of the misunderstandings when it comes to what is property and the property of man. Now, so what is property? And in this case, when I say, in fact, I'm going to make the distinction between the two. So, what is the property of man, and what is property? Okay, there's kind of two. It's like the system, the laws that we largely abide by. So, natural laws and common law and folklore and statutory law and so on. So there's like the same parallel system running. So, one is the property of man, and one is just property or just the land. Okay. Now, let me distinguish the property of man first. In fact, let me distinguish what is property first before I go into the property of man. What is the property of man? Now, when, of course, the earth was created, the earth itself is its property. The earth, though not living, but it has its right as its. The earth is just what it is. It's property. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's a piece of rock out there in the sky, just going around. Okay, the sun. Okay, so it's just what it is. It's it's basically just a piece of rock. Now, mankind, living forms came and see on the piece of rock. However they came here, whatever conditions that were right in order for them to exist, or maybe they were put here by the gods. Who knows? Some supernatural being. Who knows? Anyway, so one is property. That is pretty much property. It's just natural. It's around you. It's the land. It's the tree. It's whatever. It's just the property. It's not man-made. And the other is man. So everything else is property. Man has dominion over everything else. That's property. That's proper to his domain, his dominion. Now, the property of man is also property. Man has dominion over the land. That's his property. But is it? That's one way to look at it. Is it his property? Is it claimed by some other man? Is it claimed by the animals who live there? The dinosaurs were here. They're not here anymore, and something else claims the land. Did it belong to them? No. But they had millions of years of reign of, the tyrannosaurs and the reigns of terror and whatnot, and they were living for millions, 100 million. It wasn't theirs, but they came, and I'm quite sure some of them had territories. Same thing with man. Mankind has territories. That is the land. That is other creatures to which he has dominion over. T-Rex had dominion over most of what he could overpower and destroy and eat and sustain itself. The plants, the animals, whatever, he had dominion over because he was the biggest, most baddest beast in the bush. Mankind is has the more brain and the ability to rational and the dexterity of finger and walk upright, and is a bipedal hominid. Now, the property of man is his own property. Your body is your property. That's the only thing that is proper to man. He owns that, but he doesn't own anything else around him. He has the use of it, he has the dominion over it, but he doesn't own it. It's not his property. So, although You can go out and you agree with somebody else to work for 10 years or 30 years of your life, and that individual will tell you that this piece of property that he held on to, he claimed he owns, like the bank. The bank will tell you, I own this piece of land, and if you want it, you have to work for and toil for 40, 50 years of your life. And even after that, you'll still never own it, but you'll own what they say is a title, some deeds or something. I don't know, some kind of ownership. How did they get it in the first place? We'll go into that later. But the only thing that is proper to man, the only thing that is man's property, is the body, is his body, is his or her body. And as I say in previous videos, and I'll say it in this one, when I use the term man in law, it means the human race, everybody, man and woman. Okay? So for those who are just joining, when I say man, it just means everybody. Okay, man and woman, the human race. Okay? Now. So the only thing that is the property of man is his body, that which is property, that which he owns. And of course, his creation, his children, that which he produced naturally, his creation. They are proper to him, exclusive of others. So your children's are your property, and your body, your thoughts, your mind, your soul if you have one. I'm double-minded about some among us. I'm really double-minded about many who live among us. Their attitudes, the way they think about their fellow man, the wicked, vicious, enslavement attitudes, the kind of crimes committed against humanity. I'm concerned they don't have souls. Not saying you should walk around with a silver object or garlic, but there are some among us that if you look closely, perhaps you wouldn't see any shadow. I don't think they have any. Vicious, serpentine, dangerous, evil, necromancers. I don't know. Vicious people who live among us. Evil, 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 evil to the bone. Makes you think if they have souls or not. Just look behind them when they're walking, you might not see shadows. You might not see anything. You might just see, maybe they're shadows themselves. Who knows? Anyway. So, the only thing that is proper to man is his body, and that which he produces naturally, his children. He makes them. He creates them. There is creation. There is monsters. There is his or her creation. Okay? So that, in a nutshell, is the difference between the two property. But let me break it down a bit. So let me go over this again. So the property, the earth, the land around you, the animals, the trees, the water, and so on and so forth, is natural property that to which man has dominion over. They are not exclusive to his, exclusive of others. If E.T. should come here with E.T. and his friends, he would, if say he lands in Africa or somewhere, say he lands in Africa somewhere, and E.T. decides to eat lions for lunch, and Bongo and his friend, my African brother and his friends, Bongo run over there with his, with his friends, with their spears and stuff, or whatever they use there, their guns or whatever. And he says, oh, no, you can't touch that. That lion there belongs to this tribe, the Massa, well, whatever. This region, that we need this animal here. E.T. would be looking at Bongo and his friends and saying, no. Did you create it? But it's separated from you. You're there, and that is over there. That has nothing to do with you. The two is not the same. You might have your body might be your property. You might be your property, but that is somebody else's, or that is something else. You are you, and that is that. I'm going to take that, and there's nothing to stop me from taking it. If, in this case, the man plants the yam, the cassava, I'm going to use something everybody knows, the banana. Say the man plants a banana tree. The banana produces some fruits, some bananas. If ET should come, if something else should come and try to claim the banana tree with the fruits, and the man comes up and sees that, because he had dominion and he toiled and he made effort to plant the tree, it is his property. But to E.T. and his friends, the two is not the same. You're over there and the tree's over here with the fruits on it, and I'm going to take it. Well, of course, that is man-made. The man can claim the banana tree as his property, but that is a man-made decision, because the tree is a natural part of the earth. The tree naturally comes from the earth, it didn't come from the man. He just somewhat monopolized it and manipulate it. Maybe it grows a different strain of banana. I don't know what he done with the genetics of it. But he's monopolized a resource that was natural. So E.T. rightfully can say to him, I don't care what you want to say, you're over there and the tree's over here, I'm going to take the tree. The tree belongs to something else. The tree is something else. You're there and it is over here. I'm going to trouble you if you don't trouble me, but I'm taking this one. So of course me, in this case, Kanjaya or Bongo, say use Bongo or Kanjaya or I don't know. I don't know what it means. Bongo might in Africa might mean something derogative, so I don't want to. I'm not gonna use a name that I don't know nothing about. In some countries, certain names mean something disrespectful. So, Long John, I don't know, John. I just use John. I don't want to use a word that might, I think everybody can accept George, and largely everybody know King George and that kind of stuff. Let's say George. So George and his friends would disagree, because he would want to dispute now over a natural resource to which he's monopolized, claiming it's his. But it's a natural, it comes from the earth, it didn't come from him. His children are his until they reach the age where they then flee the nest, so to speak. Then they're not his anymore, because now they're their own creature. Because then, if the kids were his when they leave, when they're often when they're adults, when they're of an age where they can do produce their own, think for themselves, do for themselves, then the whole earth would belong to everybody. Would belong to everybody. The first peoples that ever existed could claim the whole humanity to be their own. In a way they can, because we came from that one strain of human beings all the way to what we have today, the billions and billions of people. But of course, most people look at it and say, I'm not yours, not your property. The hell no. I'm not your property, you're not my property, nothing to do with you. Of course, most people would not agree that they're somebody else's property. Most people wouldn't even agree that their parents is their property. They're their parents' property. Or vice versa, doesn't matter. Most people just don't agree that he's or she is the property of somebody else's. That is a no-no for other people. And then the definition of property now comes in its own. Am I a separate individual from you? Well, if I'm separate from you, how can I be yours? You're over there and I'm over here. We're two different entities. I think different. I like the different food. You get what I'm trying to say. But a child hasn't the cognitive ability, hasn't got the adult, the consciousness of the mind, the rational, the reasoning, the judgment, the ability to distinguish the two. So a child would not be in a position to say he's not the property of the parents. But until he or she flees the nest, so to speak, until they grow and become their own adults, their own. And this is another thing I would like to touch on again. In law, only an adult is its own is her own human being, is her own property. If you are an adolescent, you're not, your property doesn't belong to you as a child. You don't own your own body yet. You can't even take care of the thing. You don't even recognize what it is. You don't know what to do with it. Half of you don't know what to use. So you're not a proper, in law they would say you're not a proper human being yet. You're a human being, but you're still developing. There are bits and pieces of you that's missing. You're not complete. You're not the whole. You're not they're not a full 100. But as soon as you become an adult and you go up a certain age, then you become mature and rational with good rational reasoning, good judgment, and you become mature enough where you can also produce your own. You can be creative and productive and so on, and therefore you become your own master, your own person, your own human being. You can have your own. You're mature enough now to. You have the ability to claim or reclaim that which was rightfully yours, your body, from those who say that your body will belong to them, that you're the property of your parents. You can then reclaim your property now, what is rightfully yours. It's just that now you come of age, you're mature now to recognize what is lawful, what is legal, what is right, what is wrong, to produce your own, to become your own substance, the singularity, the I man. You can recognize that. If you don't recognize your rights, you lose it. You can't have something that you don't know you have. How can I, if I was born a king or a prince, and I don't know I was born of royalty, how can I claim the throne? But you don't know. You're just another pauper down there. You might feel like you're a prince, but until you know that for yourself, a fact, and recognize that you are now an adult, and come of age where you can now go to jail because you have the ability, or should now, by certain standard, by the average of society, you're now of that age where you can now, where you're held responsible for your actions, and therefore you rightfully claim that was right, that you reclaim that which was taken by your property, that was rightfully yours. But your parents can say, oh, you are their property. Now they can't tell you what to do. I don't want to listen to you. I am my own woman, I'm my own man, I work for my, I work and take care of myself, I don't have to listen to nobody. That's when you reclaim your property, your body, your rights, and all that goes with it. You're a fully functional member of society now, capable of all kinds of things. You're all the bits and pieces that were missing when you were a child. Don't even know what to do with your body, don't even know what it is. Now you know everything about it now. You become all feisty and ready to tell your parents where they should go and where they shouldn't go. Oh yes, we all been there. Now you're a fully fledged member of society. You're that full 100. You're gone the whole 9 yards now. Been through the whole process. All the bits and pieces that were missing is all come together now. Now you know how to use everything. Now you'll get all feisty and ready to rank with granny and run out of the house and slam the door behind you and never come back. And your parents be like, at least I got some peace and quiet now. Anyway, I'm just, Anyway, yes, we can be humorous. I think having a good sense of humor is always a good thing. But anyway, so that's property. That's your property. That your body is your property. Anything else around you is what you monopolize. And you can say it's proper to me because I worked with that man over there who promised me to give me that piece of that house. And then if I work for him for 40, 50 years of my life, and maybe till I drop dead, when he decides the house is mine. Now let's go now into who can give you property. So if you work and pay for something, is that your property? That's another whole nother thing now. So if you work for something, is that your property? Now, yes and no. So you can monopolize something and say, oh, I have agreed with that human being over there, that them 2 donkeys over there is mine. The donkey would not agree with it. Because I'm trying to work the poor donkey today. But the donkey has no say because man has dominion over him or it. And so mankind to mankind will agree, sit down, meeting of the minds, and agree to somehow the donkey should become the property of that human being, that man or woman. So the only thing that's proper to man, the only property that man naturally possesses, is his own body, and that which he produces, children. And if you touch his child, he'll be very angry with you, because he has a natural reactive possession. He's possessive of his property, that which he produced, that which is naturally his, that which is made, his own monster, his own creation, his own invention. If I made a rocket ship today, I don't want anybody to touch it and tell me what to do with it. I don't need a license to drive it around, as I like. It's my creation, I created it. Or you to tell me that I need a license, I need to pay you some money now to drive my own car, to drive my own creation, my own little sled, my own rocket ship, my own Batmobile. My monster. Leave it alone. My creation. My Frankenstein. So that is, in a nutshell, that should explains it a lot. So property is just what your property, your natural property is your body and your children, that which you produce. After a while, till they reclaim their right for themselves as their property, and anything else, your house, your land, your car, your donkey, the water that you monopolize, and whatnot, everything else is property of the earth. Is natural to the earth. They're things. All the creatures, all the trees, the water, the gold, the silver, the diamond, everything, the mud, whatever, it's for the earth. That's proper to the earth. And then all the creatures, we call them creatures, or it, like the tree. You don't call it a person or him or her. You say it. They're now in the category of it, because to us they're not human beings. They don't have souls, and we have dominion over them. So now they're it. They're not he or she or some, they're not someone or who, they're what or something. So that's how they categorize what is the living, the non-living, and that which is a it. Could be living, but it's a it, or a what, not a who. All right. So that should, I hope I was able to break it down. Now, as I say, is so another way to look at this: is the government the property of the people? Well, yes, it was created by the people. So the government is just a name. Government, GOVERNMENT, government. It's a couple of letters. Yeah, it's just this flat note wood pulp with some ink on it, scribbling some hieroglyphic form that we recognize as letters. Gov or GOVERNMENT, government. And we all agree that that's what the word stands for. It's a corporation, or organization to which man creates, man creates. So it's just a structure. That tentacle over there controls that bit of order in society, and that bit of action, activity in society, and that bit is governed by that bit, and that bit is governed by that bit, and so man creates this creation in order for the smooth running of a society, the efficiency of a society, so that man can go out in his field and be more productive, instead of each man has to govern the society himself, though we are largely responsible for our own, keeping a society on a whole. The children of society, we all need to pull together and make sure that if you see a kid stepping out of line, you have a word with him or have a word with the parents. So man create government, so man owns government. Each of us are responsible for the government. We are responsible to hold it in account. We are responsible that those who we put in charge to operate in the various sectors of government, we keep them on their toes. We keep them in line. We remind them of what we employ them to do. Now does government own the people? Is the people the property of government? No. The reverse is true. The government is the property of people. But that's just the structure of it. The people, the man and woman who operates it, who we put in charge to operate it, or don't put in charge, half of them was never elected by the people. They elect themselves and their friends, for the most part. So those who we put in charge or don't put in charge, right? We still have them within our grasp, within our control. At least we should. These days it's gone the other way around. I remember, don't want to divert too much here, but I remember I was listening to this program, and a guy called in and he says he went to the office, the government office, and he has to speak to the, say for instance, he has to speak to the deputy, the lady in charge. It was a lady, and the lady says that the receptionist told, like, the receptionist told him that the lady he seeks is in a meeting with a VIP. So the chappie says to the receptionist, but a man is here present. I need this individual we pay to answer to me when I ask him a question. He should be here to answer it. That's what we pay him for. He has to be here. He can't be at home in his swimming pool, his jacuzzi. He has to be here. That's what we pay him for. A 12-hour shift. Where is he? Need to speak to him. Oh no, he's in a meeting with a very important VIP, very important person, a very important individual. They don't. I don't think they want to say person. But anyway, very important person. So the gentleman says to the receptionist, well, who is this person so important that she can't see me? Oh, it's an MP. Oh, an MP. You mean another public servant? How did he become a VIP? Well, fine, very important person. A person is a fiction, and he operates in a fictional capacity. So he might be a very important person, that's fine. But the very important human being here, or the very important people, is right here. I'm one of them. Not persons. The P should stand for people. But they put the fiction to represent the man. So instead of saying very important people, which is a sovereign, which is the people of the land, they say very important person, which is a fiction, the capacity of an officer. The man who wants to run this corporation we call government. They're very important persons. But the people who come, the very important people, the sovereigns who come for them to answer to whatever they ask them about, you never hear the word VIP stands for very important people. They always very important person. They like that bit. They can get away with that bit. So the chappie says, oh, you mean another servant? Oh, well, I'm here. I'm a man. I'm a sovereign. I'm the very important one here, not another servant. When he takes off his uniform, then he's a sovereign. But in his capacity, he's a servant. So I want to speak to him now. I don't care about the other servant that's asking him some questions or planning something with him. Funny. I'm here. I want to speak to him about something very important here. We have some issues we need to deal with, and that's what we pay him for. And I need him here right now. Summons him. Never mind the other servant that's with him. If two servants talking to themselves, so what? If the people comes to which pays them, then they need to, come to the people first and say, okay, all right, you pay me a wage, and we have to be fair here. You pay me to do a job. I can't be chatting with my friends while the people who pay me is left hanging. They're the important ones, not me and my friends. Okay, so just to give you a bit of background there. So that's it. So property is what's proper to the man, his body, that which he creates, his children, his monsters, creation. Okay, until they reach a certain age and they reclaim their own property, that which is rightfully theirs in the first place, just that they didn't know it. And what you don't know, you don't lose. So the child don't even know that his own body is their own body, is their property, and therefore they didn't lose it when they didn't know. But when they come of age, they're adults now, and they know, then they reclaim what was rightfully theirs, their property, their bodies. Okay. Their minds, their thoughts, their capacity to go and come to create, to produce, to become productive, okay, creative. So I hope I was able to clear up that man and property, the property of man. Okay, in previous videos we did the rights of man. I hope you just go back, and if you have any doubts about what is property and what are rights, what are the rights of man, in the previous videos we did all that, and in subsequent videos to come we will do the injury, armor, loss. We'll go through that a bit slower again and make sure that everybody gets it right. So if you have any nagging doubts about what is property, pause this video or go back, go back and use this. So I want to thank you all for participating in the program. As I said, I do this show every Monday, every day, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And my website is www.commondawsolution.org. My email address is commondawsolution@gmail.com. I want to thank you all for participating. Send me a message if you have one on 075-774-62704. Give me a thumbs up on the old Facebook and press the old microphone on the WhatsApp. Send me a voice message. Come directly to my number. I'll hear it, I'll answer it, and I'll upload it onto the program. If you don't want it to be heard, let me know and I'll remove it from the sign. But we encourage all our voice to be heard. Let your voice be heard. As I say, I'll always say this, that no people can be free and ignorant and free at the same time. You're either ignorant and stupid, lose all your rights, or you know all your rights and you can retain your property and your rights. Okay, so God bless us. See you in the next programs, and I hope I was able to answer all your questions here. Thank you very much, and see you next time.